Welcome back to Morning Express. Let's set the ball rolling in the program this morning we're being joined by Dr. Ben Onwudinjo, who is a public policy analyst as well as the president, UNN Alumni Association Abuja branch. The focus for today is the recent defection of the Delta State governor alongside his deputy commissioners in his government as well as local government council chairman being spearheaded by the former Delta State Governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa. A massive defection that has entirely crashed the People's Democratic Party structure into the APC. Quite a very shocking revelation we had yesterday by the Delta State Governor. A very good morning to you, by the way, Dr. Ben. Thank you for joining us on Morning Express.
Thank you very much. How are you today?
I am doing very fantastic.
Okay.
And a little bit still shocked at the defections that happened yesterday.
But I'm not shocked.
Why so?
Because that is the kind of thing we see in Nigeria. Because the political structure in Nigeria is based on the concept of prebendalism. All the things we've heard, did you hear about the masses? Did you hear about reducing poverty? Did you hear about the kind of the policies that will come up and assist in delivering the dividend of democracy? Is about what we call in public policy analysis, we call it elite conspiracy. It's about struggle for power at the elite level. Unfortunately, all these things end up further impoverishing the masses, further drifting Nigeria backwards. All the indices of global development will have Nigeria less. Global index in terms of education, in terms of maternal health, in terms of poverty, in terms of all those things are less. But our people are more interested in fighting at the elite level. And then that is why, as an analyst myself, I'm not surprised. I thought it's normal because that is what we see in Nigeria.
A lot of people have mentioned that of all the defections to have taken place in Delta State, they were not expecting the PDP's vice presidential candidate in the last elections to spearhead the defection that has happened in Delta State, considering that he was just a very high-ranking member of the PDP and also contested for the second highest seat in the nation under the umbrella of the PDP, and now he's casually jumping and cross-carpeting into the APC.
Why would somebody not expect that? Yeah, what those people who are saying that, what is the reason why he will not be expected to jump ship? Is it because
the idea is that it was too sudden?
Why? The people, in terms of being relevant, in terms of planning for 2027, I didn't see it like that at all.
Wow.
Because the people are looking at 2027, they are already plotting their spaces in the next dispensation. So now I think it's even too late. That's what I'm concerned, to have jumped ship, because they are also making sure that they suggest that the APC will still win.
Yes.
So what will they do? They have to find a way to ensure that they stay in the power equation. Not talking about the masses. So I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised at all.
Well, interestingly, however, in terms of the governor himself, that's Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori, how do you think he probably managed to drag along every single member of his government, both politically appointed or elected, to join the APC? It seems like a very clean sweep down to councillors in the state.
Was it the governor that was dragged, or who did the dragging?
Well, the governor likely dragged everybody, but we don't know who was dragging the governor.
I can suggest to you.
What's your suggestion?
I suggest that the APC dragged them.
With what?
With promises, with permutations. Now, if you do this, I will do this. If you do this, I will do this. And if in the 2027, for the fact that everybody is expecting or suspecting that APC will win,
yes,
they will dangle some little carrots at you, and then if you don't, you are today in politics as a maybe governor or something. What about 2027? So if by 2027 you didn't dance some tunes, you might even not find your feet. You might even not find your space. Yes. So the governor is dragged, and if you drag a governor, others will tag along, because you want to maintain your position as a local government chairman, or as you want to be in the power equation. So the governor is dragged; he drags everybody else. So there's it's not a rocket science.
Dr. Ben, let's talk reality in terms of the reason why Okowa decided to join this bandwagon heading into the APC. Sometime last year, we saw the EFCC raise up a case of about 1.3 trillion naira on the governor and his administration when he was a governor of Delta State. And to this day, we haven't heard anything about the case. A lot of individuals, keen observers, suggest that it might have been a way of pleading with the current administration to forget his sins. If you remember the words of a certain politician once,
Adam Sosomole.
exactly. Is this what we are seeing?
Like I said APC dragged the governor. When you say APC controls the instruments of the federal government in terms of the control of power, control of resources, control of that. And then if you, Adam Sosomole said it, that if you join the APC, you have peace. So who wants to be dragged to EFCC, go to court up and down? So
is it safe to say that the sins of Okowa will be pardoned or are already pardoned by means of him decamping to the APC?
You already answered the question. You said that he has got some peace for some time now. So you'd be surprised that the thing will just water down and go away. His wife and his children may pray, Daddy, leave these people, go to this place, and let's have some peace here, instead of going to court up and down. And they don't even know what can come out of it. So the governor is dragged. Okowa is dragged. Everybody is dragged. And what are they dragging? They are dragging pre-Bendalism. They are dragging themselves towards the power. Like if you put a light here now, everybody else comes towards the light. Unfortunately, nobody is talking about the masses. Nobody is talking about the actual tenets of governance, and that's where the tragedy lies.
Well, this is not the first PDP governor that has openly declared support for the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is an APC-led administration. In the South, we have seen individuals like the Akwa Ibom State Governor, Pastor Moeno, openly supporting the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We have also seen a video. I think you were here the last time when I had mentioned that the same Governor Sharif was seen in a video saying that if the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu succeeds, his administration will succeed. If the administration of the president fails, his own administration will fail. This is, I think, about 4 or 5 South governors, including Southeast governors, have sort of shown solidarity with an APC-led administration while still being actively part of the PDP. Why do you think this is happening?
A simple thing. Look at it from a deep structure.
Yeah.
We have, when you analyze public policies, we look at them from surface structure and deep structure. Surface structure is if you want to start analyzing these sentences. But we don't do that. We go to the deep structure. They are simply trying to protect their personal interest against 2027. They are simply trying to play to the gallery. They are simply trying to play elite conspiracy. How come if the president succeeds at APC level, then you succeed at a PDP? Meaning there is no ideology. There are no ideologies that are being held forward by the governors or by the parties. It means there are no principles. There are no deliverables. Look at Wike, the Minister of FCT is under PDP, but he works for APC. So it means there are no party principles they are following. They are just looking at self-centeredness, elites conspiring to bring the masses to pursue power at the expense of the tenets of governance. So what he's saying to me is still not a surprise, because they are interested in their own. It's like a chess. Everybody is plotting. What will I be in the next time in 2027 if Tinubu becomes president? What will I be as a governor now? I want to get my ticket back, or this and that. If I have EFCC problems, I may be able to be forgiven. Self, not masses. That's the difference between what we have in Nigeria and other countries, and that's why we are suffering despite the humongous resources at our disposal. Are you saying that
this is a flawed democracy we are practicing?
It is a dysfunctional democracy. If not, are you not suffering in Nigeria? Are you having enough wealth? To compare to the resources we have in Nigeria, we are simply suffering comparatively.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that Nigeria should be able to do better than what we are doing. But when the chess is being played at the elite level, the masses suffer. Then you have 5% of the elite holding power, holding resources, 95% are suffering. Are you not aware that Nigeria was the worst, the poverty capital of the whole world? Nigeria, the worst poor in the planet. Nigeria, the worst in education. Worst. How come? I'm interested in these people talking about, okay, we're not talking about, okay, PDP want to go to APC because the principles of APC, their agenda, we better profit the masses, we better improve the enrollment figure of the masses, we better improve the quality of schools, we better improve the human capital development. No, none. It's about people placing themselves where they gain power and continue the tragic concept of prebendalism, and that's not good enough.
Keen political observers have accused the current administration of slowly dragging the nation into a one-party state. This is not the first time we are seeing governors of an opposition party spread all across the country, and then elections hold and they still win back those political seats in their states. However, it appears that with the current dispensation, there is so much fear gripping state governors who are off the other side ahead of the next elections that they might not return to the seats due to the fact that they don't have that backing from the top. Is that the picture we are looking at?
And I find it shameful that we can be doing a democracy where we have to talk about the backing from somewhere to win elections.
Federal might, they call it.
That is totally shameful and unacceptable, crude, totally. I'm trying to use television words. Is it supposed to be like that? You should be talking about backing from the majority, from the masses.
Yeah.
If you are talking about federal might, then it is shameful. It is not unacceptable. It is crude. It is rude. How do you look about, you have to back me to win election? Election is about popular votes. It is a question of me delivering. If I'm contesting with you as a governor, or as governor of our state, then you are bringing your programs. I'm bringing man, and the public are to choose the better one. And then if the masses, a majority, if they give me mandate or give you mandate, you say that you are going towards their own direction. You carry them along into policy making. But if somebody else backs me or backs you, then it is not it is not democracy. And when I don't want to hear that somebody backs. Is it correct? It's not correct now. Let us call a spade a spade. If everyone has to back me to win, not saying if we have social number of votes, 1 million votes in Nigeria, I have majority, I win. Then that is unfortunate. That's not correct at all.
Do you see a possible wave of defections among other PDP governors, not just political members now, but governors in the South, because it appears that the president might be going to have a very tight grip on the South and the southeastern parts of the country?
And I have a problem with choice of words. Tight grip. Why should the president have a tight grip? You should be telling me that the president's policies are impacting positively on the masses more than ever.
I'm speaking based on the facts on ground, and I'm not referring to the president's policies. I'm not referring to any of his ideologies when it comes to leadership of the country. I'm talking about 2027 is around the corner. The political scene is already getting heated. People are already gearing up, wearing their gloves to enter the ring, and the president will not want to lose such very critical regions of the country like the South and the Southeast when it comes to the general elections, because it's already becoming unpopular in the northern part of the country.
Then the question will now be, is he going to do that by having a tight grip? I have a problem with the word tight grip.
What would you rather assert?
I'll be saying that the people from this kind of country, this part of the country, are getting better. Their lives are getting better. They are more empowered. They are getting democratic dividends better. Not the president having a tight grip. Grip means force. I grip you. You cannot run. I have a problem with that. So if Mr. President is having a tight grip, is a problem there. Let us say the Hope agenda is producing such results that are so, these people, they have become better. Their infant mortality has reduced. Mortality rate has reduced. The people can now have mortality. They have reduced. People go to school better. We have jobs, we have employment, no more poverty. Poverty rate has, look at the poverty index of Nigeria, state by state. I can say, okay, National Bureau of Statistics will say, okay, state A, B, C, yesterday it was this, today is this. Because of Mr. President's policies, he has reduced. Therefore, these people are going to vote for him. Not by, I don't want to hear grip. It's not correct. It's not totally not correct. And that is why we are suffering. Let us tell them that it's not a question of having grip. We have grip. You have to have policies. Otherwise, we will wait for time to change you?
Well, one of the governors of the South region that, of course, the suspended governor now of Rivers State, Fubara, that speculations have been that he might be amongst the bandwagon of governors who will defect to the APC before May 29th, which is the deadline the APC has set for defections for some of these top political bigwigs. And we also got wind of information that the suspended governor had a meeting with the president somewhere outside the shores of Nigeria in order to rectify the issues that he has had in his state. Do you see a possible defection from Fubara anytime soon?
He has no choice, because the idea of his suspension has still remained controversial.
Yeah.
Whether he should be or not. Many people have questioned the powers of the president to do what he did, and then but the reality is that he's suspended. Do you know that they can find some parts of the books to suspend him more, or make sure that he doesn't even come back again. So my dear friend, the Fubara, might decide, okay, it's better to be a governor than to be a former governor. And then if he means defected anywhere, what can he do? He prefers to ride his bulletproof cars, limousines, be a governor. So, but it's not based on I will defect to the APC because APC will give our people a better chance of living well, or reduce militancy, or reduce anything, or get Nigeria better. It's about what can he do to remain in power. So the elite level in Nigeria is not. They are not helping. They are not.
And what would you say about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's handling of the democratic system in the country? I know you have called it a flawed democracy. You have called it a dysfunctional democracy. But it appears that at the helm of affairs, there is one man who is championing and spearheading all of this. The happenings, the mishaps, the good, the bad, and I might even add the evil. The president. What is your own position on his policies, politically, democratically speaking?
If you want to, from public policy perspective,
yes.
If you want to analyze results of any policy making,
yeah.
you have program planning, program implementation, program evaluation, and then feedback. When we come to evaluation, we find ourselves, to what extent does this policy or these policies help to reduce the suffering of masses? To what extent are we having better? Now, we're not going to judge or assess the policies based on textbook analysis. We go to computer and find out internet and say, where are we? We're going to go to the streets and find out, are people getting better in these situations? And the answer to me is no.
People are not getting better.
Are they getting better? How much do you buy fuel today? You can say arithmetic. You can draw by chart, histogram, and you make press releases. Does the life of a typical Nigerian get better today? A preponderance of Nigerians, they are just suffering and smiling. Can't we say the truth? So I'm saying, all this we have said, my concern is that to what extent does it influence or impact positively on power belongs to the masses, so you know. So then you do state capture. People that own the power are preponderantly suffering. People cannot pay their school fees of their children. Rent is high. Food, they can't even feed themselves. Herdsmen clashes, insecurity, and then you are telling us about this kind of elite conspiracy. So for us, we will measure it based on the aggregate human resource development of the country. If it is low, then they have failed. If it's high, they have succeeded. So it's not a question of assessing it based on what they are saying. It is based on the results.
Yeah.
We have to assess your implementation policies from the evaluation. They will give you feedback. So the tragedy of the Nigerian government is that they stop at policy planning and implementation. They don't bother about the evaluation. They don't bother about feedback. Otherwise, why are we suffering in the midst of the supposedly rated high resource we have in Nigeria? I'm not rating them high.
Well, Dr. Ben, still staying with the defections that have rocked the south region of the country. I might even add the southeast. I had mentioned that the president is trying to have a very tight grip on these two regions, the southeast and the south. And you said that you had problems with my choice of words in terms of tight grip.
Meaning you hold you, move. You're not supposed to be like that.
It appears that is what the president is doing. But however, I just want to read out, a headline story on the front page of the Vanguard in just a moment. Let's see if we can have the Vanguard pop up on the screen and take a look at what the headliner there says. On the front page of the Vanguard, 2027, Tinubu tightens grip on Southeast and South-South in gale of defections. Oborewore, Okoa, PDP stakeholders join APC. Happenings in PDP made us defect, says a certain manager. Governor Eno denies dumping PDP. Ebonyi Anyim, ex-PDP state chairman, move to APC. Now this is a shocker. 150 PDP and Labour Party members join APC in Enugu State. Delta is finally APC, says Minister Festus Keyamo. Attempts to turn Nigeria to one-party state will fail, says Bode George. And finally, Dele Momodu asserts that PDP leaders are defecting to APC due to EFCC probe.
You have already answered the question.
But I want us to start off from Enugu State, Dr. Ben.
I'm from Enugu State.
150 Labour Party and PDP members defecting to the APC in a state where the governor is a PDP member. Does this speak some sort of connotation as to the fact that the governor, Peter Mba, might likely defect to the APC anytime soon?
Do you remember that during the election of Governor Mba, my good friend,
yes,
you remember there were several controversies,
yeah,
that you remember about certificate scandal, about this and that, and for us, we think that his being governor is based on a narrow escape. So he might want to protect his second election by defecting to the APC so that his sins will be forgiven. So even if you have 2 million people of Enugu State defecting the APC, it is not something we don't think cannot happen. It's nothing special, because you can only just release funds and they give instructions, and people go and line up in a stadium and collect money, collect allowances, and go anywhere. So my opinion is that since the governor of Enugu State had a very narrow escape, the controversy was clear, and then it's been in the news, it's been in the rumor all the while. In the rumor mill had been saying that governor might want to go back to the APC for his own survival, but not that that the policies of APC are better than the PDP.
Yeah.
Let me look to APC to enable me be able to implement better policies for the Enugu State government, Enugu State people. Okay, the poverty rate in Enugu State is this percent. If I go to APC, I implement certain policies, it will be able to go down to that percent. Those narratives are ignored only for the purpose of self-survival, and being a person to do state capture.
Yes.
If you capture the state, you are able to dispense resources as you like. Meanwhile, a preponderance of the masses are simply suffering, helping to create more disconnect between the masses, between the governed and the people who are in government. Then it becomes elite governance. 95% suffering, 5% sharing the resources.
Is the opposition being weakened by these defections, Dr. Ben?
Who are the opposition?
PDP, Labour Party, NNPP.
If you say Labour, let me say opposition, in Nigeria where fund is weaponized, I find out that if you don't have money, you cannot do opposition. People are hungry. If you become a governor today, people will line up against after you and want you to give. They don't want to hear, because they've seen the kind of politics we play in Nigeria. People are looking for what they will eat, palliatives. If you are in government now, the government, if you are in this party, they can come to your place and tie roads, give light, give this. If you are not, they will starve you of resources. They will starve you of dividends. And then your people are telling you, let's go to where it is happening. Not politics of principle, but politics of survival. And when that happens, whether we are in one state or in two-state governance, we are worried that Nigeria is not achieving the aim.
Because it's quite shocking that beyond the Delta State governor, beyond the Okowa, we also hear, and also beyond the 150 Labour Party and PDP defectors in Enugu State, we also hear that in Osun State and in Jigawa State, that PVP chieftains have defected to the APC. It's like, because of the deadline on May 29th, almost everybody wants to join the APC before the deadline comes.
Because if you don't join the APC, your chances of survival will be almost zero, almost nil.
Now, I know you might not have a magic wand to wave in terms of solving this issue, but in your position as somebody who is politically savvy, and you have studied the polity quite in-depthly, what would you say is the way out for Nigerians, much like myself and others watching, who are innocent bystanders and observers of the political scene in what might seem to be a very clean sweep by the APC-led administration, gradually tilting Nigeria into a one-party state?
Simple thing. Time is the greatest manager. If you don't have the instrument of state power,
yes,
what can you do? And then if you don't have the resources, what can you do? Remember, there will be several times remember there was a time PDP was saying they'll be in the governance for how many years? 50 years. What happened? So it's only a question of time for an implosion,
yes,
or explosion, especially if the structures are not built on, if the structures are built on quicksand. If you gather everybody and make it's not supposed to be a one-party state, a one party alone. But if you sustain a one-party something, along the line there will be an implosion, because at a point you will lose grip, you will lose focus, you will even be tired. What is power? If you're governor, what is it? You know, a contestant has gone on Enugu State too. What is to be a governor? What does it entail? You can say, give this person 1 billion, give this person 2 billion. You drive in cars, live in houses. After a while, you see that under a master's article of news, you find out that it becomes even a burden. Being a governor becomes a burden to you. You suffer health challenges. You travel abroad. You have all types of surgeries. You find out that it's vanity upon vanity. All is vanity. When that limit comes at there's a hierarchy. When the teacher at Nsoka, 1, 2, 3, by the time you come to the 5, when you go to the top, where do you go to? You come down. So it's a question of time for explosions to happen, and there'll be no empire stays forever. What I'll tell the masses like me and you to say, don't even die before the time comes. Don't go in front of the caterpillar and stay. Or what will you do? We advise them to keep calm, find a skill for yourself, be relevant even to yourself first. Contribute positively. Let's have positive minds. Let's have positive approach to life. If I don't want to join this kind of bandwagon, at least I can join in doing my own small support in several areas. We have a lot of people who are disconnected from this bandwagon, who are on their own. Time will come when the status quo antebellum will change on its own.
In balancing our democracy, Dr. Ben, it appears that the major, I know you might not like my choice of words, but the major oppositions that we have in the country are at the moment quite destabilized.
Quite destabilized. I'm trying to look at that way. Now I'm a grammarian.
Well, hold on, let me land. But in balancing our democracy, do you see any opposition coming up anytime soon to actually perform as an opposition should in the country?
I see that very, very quick. Remember the obedient movement?
Yes.
When they came, 2023 it was like a tsunami.
Yeah.
Nobody expected it, because no matter the instruments of power, no matter the machination of power by anybody, time and elements remain supreme. So you never can tell. All the man proposes, God does what? Disposes.
Yes.
You can be plotting and plotting and plotting. Time will even this. Let me give another one. Remember, we have international politics. If these things we are doing now, if you have one party state and internationally they have a problem with it. Yes.
If, for example, United States of America, if it affects other countries and they complain, then the whole thing will dismantle. Let me give an example. If we go at this place and if you sustain under democracy one party state, it becomes injurious to the country itself. And the international community will, because if Nigeria explodes, it will generate humanitarian problems, it will generate a lot of issues, even affecting the interests of foreigners here. So the American government will complain, UK government will complain. The moment they complain bitterly about it, the whole structure will collapse. And that's all. So it's a question of time. And that's why we say that in power, you must maintain limits. It doesn't help. It doesn't encourage anybody to be authoritarian,
to be so powerful.
Absolutely powerful.
If you go to a one-party state, you become absolutely powerful. And when you get to that point, the only place for you to go to is come down. You are operating at an international level. We are a global community. It doesn't matter what you can do. Grab power, take everything. We also look at how it affects the international community. I give an example. If Nigeria gets to, because they have foreign intelligence. If Nigeria gets to the point of possibly exploding, you know the consequence, West Africa and otherwise, then foreigners will complain. When they complain, these people running to this place will run back. Because let us say the Secretary of State, Donald Trump, or UK Parliament, they bring Nigeria as a case study and discuss it and complain bitterly. Everybody will run back. So it's a question of time.
Well, quite very in-depth assertions made by Dr. Ben Onwudinjo in terms of the question of time relating to the current political woes Nigeria is facing. But talking about woes, insecurity is yet another matter that the president has decided to take very seriously, as he has had meetings with heads of security and intelligence agencies in the country, while it's stating in strong terms that enough is enough, as he has asked them to bring an immediate and effective end to the current insecurity challenges bedeviling the country. A lot of persons might say kudos to the president, while others might say, why now?
Kudos to the president for issuing statements of what?
Giving the right acts to the security chiefs to ensure that they act swiftly to bring an end to the security situation.
So if the president reads the act, we say kudos to him for reading the right act. We want to say kudos to the president for his statements to have come to fruition. We don't want to be hearing president giving marching orders. I direct you. After directing you, are people stopped dying? Is there security? Is there less clashes? Our farmers going back to the farm. Food is totally expensive. How? We can't even feed ourselves when Niger State is more in size than Netherlands, than the whole country there. And we can't even feed ourselves. Let this. We don't want to be judging Mr. President based on his marching order, based on telling the security chiefs, chief of army staff, chief of defense staff, say enough is enough. Let us see action. We must be able to always assess and analyze public policy from the point of view of results, because you have asked for the power. We give you the power. You have the resources. You have the state structure, state power, and then people are dying. How many in Plateau? How many in other places? Then we just give we just give statements. We want to see action. We cannot measure in public policy. We cannot measure it based on your statements or based on what somebody wrote for you. You read it like this, and then we start clapping. No. When we see a stability in Nigeria, at least people can feed. So I don't want to join in praising Mr. President for saying enough is enough. I want to join him in saying, thank God, when there are no more kidnappings on the road, if I go to Kogi State, they kidnap people. They kidnap the whole bus and walk away with them, and then we start paying ransom. There's a former military man that they kidnapped. The other military people contributed money. You can imagine the shame.
The former NYCD
GG
General Siga.
Generals contributed money to go and release him from non-state actors. So I want to hear that the president, based on the president's statements, insecurity has reduced from this percentage to that percentage. Let us do issue-based analysis, issue-based governance, not by just gerrymandering, not by just playing games, not by just playing around. When you finish that one, if you become powerful, we wait. If absolute power is a very dangerous thing to the power holder and to the masses.
But in still talking about the issue of insecurity, Dr. Ben, what can be done? Some individuals like the former Chief of Army Staff and one-time Minister of Defense, General Theophilus Danjuma, had asked people in Benue, in Taraba State, particularly where he's from, as well as neighboring Benue and Plateau states, to ensure that they take up arms to protect themselves, much like the Arcelans, also have weapons and ammunition. And we saw the Jigawa State Governor, a state that has also been plagued by some sort of insecurity, blasting the elder statesman and saying that his words were not elderly in any way. On whose part do you stand, Dr. Ben?
I stand on the part of the masses. The elderly statesman is frustrated that his people are dying.
Yes.
And I believe that he would have preferred it to say he was still in power. If he was still in uniform, he would have probably even gone to the bushes to start fighting them by himself. No elder statesman will be happy that his people are being killed. But I have a solution for the federal government. I said it not here, the other station, the other TV station I was last 2 days.
Yes.
I made it clear. A simple solution. See, the problem of Nigerian public policy, which is why we are suffering, is that public policy makers design policies from elite conspiracy. They just sit in AC in villa, these ministries, and write policies and release. No, you have to change it. Do masses oriented policy, carry them along, put the interest first. Now, what do? I have said, yes, the other station 2 days ago, I said, yes, go to the Ministry of Education, bring the template, design national security security summit. Yes. Like the way they do at Ministry of Education. You have plenary, you have executive meetings. Carry everybody along. Demystify security. It's not a question of saying, because security, you cannot say what it is. Now, every year, 3 times a year, every year there should be meetings comprising all stakeholders from across the states, across local government areas, even NGOs, even public private sector, and participate. Bring memoranda. You need to harness resources, human resources, and then be able to implement them. This security problem is simply local. So bring those people along. Let them be able to air their views. Let them be able to provide solutions or suggest solutions. Before you know it, this thing will reduce. Even for the fact of making giving them ownership of the policy. Even for the fact of carrying them along in designing the policy. But you don't just throw arms, you don't just throw money, you don't just throw boots on the ground and they will vanish. Now, the question is this: why are they having these kind of problems? Because one of them is high interest. 2, poverty. But if you tackle the other one, unemployment, if you tackle this a little bit by public engagement, it will be better. You cannot achieve it by encouraging non-state actors to carry arms. Then you are looking for war. When war comes, it affects everybody. No, I'm saying let us have a more robust engagement.
But there are already arms in the hands of non-state actors, and it is becoming deadly day by day.
And then we're saying let us don't have more arms in their hands. You have arms now, otherwise they can even have more. So let us even keep it at that and carry them along. Is it possible for us to have a summit in Akwa Ibom or in Abuja or in Enugu or anywhere and bring these Metiala people, all these stakeholders? Let us come there. Let us hear them. Do you know that like if you're a doctor now, I come to you now, but the fact that you listen to me, my headache has gone half. Let's give them listening here. What is the problem? I said it the other time on the other station. I said, why people are not able to follow you? Because you are giving them a solution different from their own problems. Like now, I come to your community to give you pipe-borne water. Meanwhile, you need electricity.
Yes.
It doesn't matter what I give you. It must be what you need. So what are the issues? Can we bring them along the line? Can we discuss with them nationally? And let us even have the problems and solve them, empower them. If I say, okay, we are so number of people, I don't want to call their names, and then what our problem is this. Let's solve their problems, and then it will reduce drastically. Otherwise, carry arms will not help, as far as I'm concerned.
And what would you make of the statements of the Plateau State Governor Caleb Muftuang, as well as his Benue State counterpart, Reverend Hyacinth Alia, who had mentioned recently that the forests and reserves in their states have been placed under a siege by certain non-state actors who are very heavily armed, and we are seeing the consequences of this siege that has plagued both states. Don't you think it calls for perhaps something that might appear like a national state of emergency on insecurity?
What I have to answer about it is that to ask National Security whether the NSA, whether he heard about it.
He was in Benue State recently.
And then what is the outcome of his going there? It's not by the optics. Let me, if I should say something, I would say they have leaders. They are in clusters. Is it possible for us to come down from our high horse and meet them? What are the issues? You just have to discuss with them. You're in democracy. You cannot do nothing apart from discuss. Just discussion is the solution in democracy. Find their leaders, bring them to a round table. What are the problems? And solve the problems. Except if you say you cannot solve the problem, then why are you in government? Or what will you do? Fight them. Remember, they're also Nigerians. If you fight them, you want to wipe out 500,000 of them. You want to kill 1,000 or 10,000. How much? So you cannot just kill them. You must listen to their grievances. If the two states have been taken over by non-state actors, they have representatives. Bring them on. Find the solutions. I don't support bombarding them. You just have to discuss with them. You have to just find. There must be reasons. The reasons may not be necessary. The reasons may not be important. But you must listen to people. It doesn't matter. You must listen to them. If you listen to them, you may find out that you find answers. If you don't have the answers, call people who have the answers, and they will. It's just orientation. They are not properly oriented. They're even angry. They feel they are not getting what they should get in Nigeria.
So it's about dialogue.
Dialogue and dialogue and dialogue. Otherwise, what do you want to do? Kill them or go into war?
I'm sure we wouldn't want that.
And we don't want that. That is why you just have to dialogue with them. Find a way to dialogue with them, and you find that dialogue is even superior in democracy.
It is.
If you set up armored car, and shoot people, when you finish, have you won? The more others will come safe, and then we don't want that. It's crude. It's uneducated.
Well, quite a very strong session here, Dr. Ben. I think this is a fine place to leave the conversation. But we must thank you so much for always finding the time to come. Yes. Always a pleasure to have these conversations with you on the program.
Thank you very much.